Today I'm going to be running this team that's honestly, it's very offensive and you're trying to get a lot of layers up. If I describe it with the Scarm, and you got spin removal with this guy, you got rocks here. And we're trying to sweep mainly with these two, so they're going to be like our late game threats. Need be. And I also come through this Scarf Ttar because I'm just kind of a demon like that. So these are the spread moves we got right now, but might as well just go straight into the matchmaking sign up and see what we can get. So this first game, of course, we're against a Rotom, which our team is actually incredibly weak to. We got a couple checks for that thing, but I mean it's gonna lead and kind of just destroy my team. You know, I can't do too much. Taking a look at everything here, I think a drill sweep is going to be kind of alright. If I get an SD off, going to be looking decent. I don't think Crawdon kills with the jet at the range that I'm at. And Starmie should be able to tank a Volt. It's going to be tough, but I feel that leading Starmie here probably is our best bet. I'd really respect the Crawdon lead if he sends it out like that, but goes with a Chomp, and we're gonna have to play for a little Skull Burn right now. I bet this thing's Tank Chomp, just given the state of his team, having something that can take a hit or two would be nice. So, I mean, his squad's a little bit rock weak, which is somewhat helpful for me. Taking his time right here though. Alright, Rotom. If we get the burn here, we're looking pretty alright. But he knows Rotom's a threat. So, I mean, he's gonna utilize that the best he can. And I'm just gonna get Psychic Chip here because any chip I get on this Rotom is gonna be very helpful towards our game plan win here. Because, like I said, Rotom is a threat against this team. I don't know why I keep popping that up. So he goes for the Volt. We know he's Scarf, which, you know, it's not good. And he's got some investment. Hopefully he doesn't go to Crawdon hard. Alright, so it goes Mienshao. I went for Psychic, so might be cooked. Might just be cooked. Let me open the battle box real quick. Where... Yo. Where's... Where... Huh? Oh, I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna go Chomp. That's gonna be good shit. But I need to have battle. What? What is happening right here? Alright, well, add tab B. Alright, so now we can at least see what's happening. So when he goes into this thing, you know damn well who's going for it. It's gonna be a pump. Chomp might be able to tank it and get a Toxic off, and the trade of that is going to be pretty useful, but I do want rocks as well. So it's a bit of a tricky situation. And I know the Starmie is going to be pretty... It's going to be pretty alright against the Mienshao and the Chomp. Especially given if the Mienshao is Scarf, which I bet it is. But sadly, I think Starmie might have to be the sack here. If he goes for a pump and misses, that's gonna be good on my end though. So I'm not gonna be too distraught. So he goes for Trick, which is not too bad. You know, It could be much worse. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm going to do here is recover. And as he goes for a Volt, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. And now, I believe I threatened something with a rapid spin. Oh, wow. Now, he could go for Pursuit, which is definitely true. But I don't have much of a better play than going in a Chomp here. He goes in his own. And as we saw earlier, that turn 1, my Scald did oh, he never stayed in with this thing, you know? So we don't necessarily know the set. I always gotta respect Flamethrower, but might pivot from a little Scarm into Ttar here. So it goes for Toxic, so he knows some stall shit. Oh. Now, Toxic Flamethrower would be a crazy set. And here, we can actually relatively safely go for a Roots. Okay, well, he goes for Trick. Well played. Well played. I should have seen that coming. Now we're kind of forced to go into a Ttar here. I hope it doesn't Trick again. And I hope they don't know the calcs too well on. Okay. I don't think he knows the calc. Nuh-uh. So that's Crawdon gone, which opens up our Drill a bunch right here. Yeah, they never see it coming that well. The Scarf Ttar. And right here, it gets to a bit of a tricky position, but I like the Scarm pivot because we could always spam Roost against the Rotom. And if he goes Volk, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. How much? 33? I think Chomp put some work here. We are Chomp. And that's gonna do some damage. So he's gotta pivot hard into whatever he goes into. And I think a Dragon Tail looks pretty effective here. So we're gonna go for that. Goes into his own Chomp. We miss it. That's the name of the game though. I'm gonna pivot Scarm. It's an easy check on this thing. And they might go for hazards on their own end. I'm quite surprised they haven't at this point. But we could also make a dirty pivot right now. Into well, we do still have leftovers on this thing. And a Rocky Helmet wouldn't be too bad if it got tricked by Rotom. Really, we're still just trying to get this Rotom to not play its game that it wants to play though. A Psychic's pretty free. But a Scald Burn would be much better. And that's what we're talking about there. So we get Toxic, we're natural cure, so that shouldn't really affect us that badly. Meanwhile, he's actually taking much more existential chip. And if we get one more layer up, these rocks are not, or the spikes are not going to negate a lot of the Mienshao chip. So we could spin here, and that's actually what I'm going to do. Goes in Rotom, which is perfect. And I'm just going to use this opportunity to get a Psychic off because, like I said, any chip we get on this Rotom is going to be very much opening for the rest of the game. The Rotom's the biggest threat. It is actually Scarf. No, it's not Scarf anymore. You can Psychic for free. He goes for Volt. I think Starmie's gonna die here. If not, we got a good sack for it though. Goes into Zap. A little bit questionable. Now, I'm gonna go into Ttar. I don't know if they anticipate an Ice Beam, and honestly, Ice Beam in his team, it's gonna look pretty decent. And for that reason, I mean, I might just go for it. The Zap is also a threat. I was meaning to get Rocks up earlier. So it wasn't a Chomp. I get to Ice Beam it looking like a prediction god. And this thing's gone. So Rocks are never going up on my side, which is incredibly good for, well, the fact that Starmie's gone because we didn't have our spinner anymore. So now Volt comes in, and I have to make a bit of a tricky play here because he's just gonna QD, right? I mean, he doesn't QD, I lose, but what else is my play here? You know, is Volt gonna kill Chomp at +1? Likely, yeah. And Bird's in, so I think the only play here is to go Hard Drill. It's a tricky play though. We could also go to Bird. I'm gonna go Bird actually, because the biggest issue is he can't get +2, and I should actually live a hit here. And my Bird still got the Surdy, so as long as I Brave Bird this thing, should be good. It's probably a timid Volcarona. Yep. And that threat is gone. And now my Scarm's gone too. And he's in quite a tricky position as I just go Chomp here. Because when I go Chomp, well, I get to threaten Rocks. And Rotom can't do too much. Sandstorm's up, and I get it correct. That's what we're talking about here. 32-0, so can't even get a good attack off. I could go for Rocks hard. He's got no good defog options. Could also go for Toxic, but I think Rocks are better because Rocks put more pressure. He goes Rotom. And now as he goes Rotom, I figure Mienshao's still a little bit of a threat. Nothing too crazy. I do have Mach on 8. And he probably doesn't have good prio on Mienshao, but given the fact he hasn't been going for fake outs, I mean, I got a Chomp, so can't blame him. I don't really know the set too well yet. But if I were him, I would try to get a defog off. So we're gonna go for Toxic. Exactly. And now the evasiveness does fall, which does suck a little bit, but as long as I can get Rocks up, I don't really mind. that does 40. And it seems weird, but we can probably just sweep with Ice Beam now. So that's gonna do good shit. We are Skyriff Ice Beam. So you're forced to go me in Shao. Which leads me to want to go into my Chomp. And even if you go hard Zap here, also got the late game sweepers. And now you're gonna see a part of this set. Now fake out my friend does not oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's over. It's over, my friend. Goes for a raw thunder trying to para me. Doesn't get it. And this should be game. So we got the dub, but we had to wait way too long because they rage quit. Which is tough. Alright, so we get to run up the next game. This guy's got a pretty cool team. Aerodactyl getting rocked up. Magic Bounce SP. My Ttar is gonna go stupid this game. Except the Jellicent, but he doesn't even know that it's not a counter. Usually you think Jellicent would be good against that thing, but whatever. As it goes, I think leading Ttar is gonna be kind of safe here. Just given the nature of how most of his team operates with a good speed tier, and Ttar is going to catch him off guard, so I'm going to go with that and see what it does. So he goes Arrow. That Arrow's still got a pretty crazy speed tier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, speed tier of 130. This thing's still going to be faster. So I don't think I can get an Ice Beam off. He's probably going to go for something kind of crazy, but you know, maybe he goes for rocks. Ice Fang's definitely not something you want to play with though. Fire Fang's something we could totally tolerate though. And here I could totally understand a play to go into his Raikou. So I'm going to make the double play and to go to my own drill. So it's an Espeon. And this here's a little coverage move you don't see often. Okay. So it wasn't a Jellicent. Gets the cursed body on me. And it might not seem like much, but getting any chip on this thing is going to be good because it's a threat. I'll probably go for Wisp. I could also anticipate a Scald. And I'd like to say Drill's my win condition here, but things get really dicey around this Jellicent. Team definitely isn't the most healthy against Jellicent, but we can go for the pursuit on Ttar. This thing's hasty, so we still get decent pursuit damage. Goes for the Wisp, not too good there. But still gonna go for the pursuit. As I said, any damage on this thing's gonna be helpful. I don't think a Scald's coming out either. 30 looks like he left. Pursuit's disabled. Goes into the Arcanine. Now luckily we have a couple pivot options, but I'm actually just gonna go to my Chomp. I'd like to go Starmie, but Wild Charge is a threatening move here. And he makes a double play to Raikou. Well played for sure. Best I got here is actually just an EQ. So he may... I respect that double as well, because I was thinking of going. I was gonna say, you know, that might have not been the best double. I think he was just making really passive switches here. And I can get a layer up. So he's for Taunt. Taunt, Spikes, Earthquake. What's your last move? Goes for Earthquake. What's your last move here? I wonder. Get a good crit off on this thing. I'm gonna make the ballsy play of getting rocks up here. That was so worth it. Now, I could scout for the Ice Fang, but I feel like Raikou's gonna come in here. No? Alright. Well, I guess I can go for a Toxic. So I wasn't gone for any moves other than Earthquake as an attacking move. I thought it had Ice Fang. Guess not. Oh, now he goes for it. Perfect. And I'm just gonna get a layer of spikes out. Alright. And this ain't too bad for the squad either, you know. I could stay in here or I could Brave Bird. I like thinking that he doesn't think that I have Brave Bird. And I could pivot into Starmie here, try to spin. But it is a bit of a tricky spot. He's getting all my mons low. So a Raikou sweep. It's not looking the most inevitable, but the Arcanine can also put in work too. You know. That X scissor on Dro though is gonna come very useful. I could Brave Bird here, and it's kind of alright. But the thing about that is it keeps my bird pretty low, and I'd like to have a roosting opportunity if I could, specifically on the SERP or on the Espeon. So on that note, I'm thinking about going back into I might go into Starmie here and recover. I figured that play makes the most sense. He's probably gonna Quake, Ice Fang, get Snow Freeze. And now I got two plays here. I can either go for the spin or I can recover. Both plays are pretty decent. And I don't think the spin is too greedy either. So he does go into Jellicent. And now we know this thing is gone. So I can kind of freely just go for a Psychic. The Curse Body there does suck. But the spin blocker is gone. Now he's for sure gonna go into SERP. And I've got to make a sack here. Now I feel my best sack is probably going into Chomp. Because I don't think he has a good form. I don't think they have a good form of removal. It could be Defog Cert, but I don't believe that's the case. And Chomp can eat the hit pretty well. You could also go Chomp, then go Ttar, then go to Bird, sack Bird, and then pivot Drill afterwards, which I'm kind of leaning towards. Ttar is gonna do like 50 or 60. And this is lefties cert, so you know it's running some pretty decent sub leech type of stuff. Now Fire Blast isn't bad here, and I really want to click it because I'm a goat. I'm the goat. I'm the goat. I should have clicked Ice Beam, but whatever. Whatever. Play with fire, bro. You play with fire. And now we can go Bird. That was a greedy play, but I'm goated, so it turned out to be in our favor. Goes for the Giga Drain. I don't mind. So it's Giga. Giga and Leaf Storm. We going to the Milwaukee. Now I got a pretty free X Scissor here. This is bulky. So I am -1. Knowing this thing's bulky though, I don't have to respect it that much with Starmie. And I think we can spin these hazards away now. Jellicent's gone. Goes Arrow. How to make a real boss play there. Now, I'm pretty sure. I just want to make sure. Infernate base stat 108. Oh, no, I did not mean to do that. Unova Pokedex. So this thing's a higher base speed than me. Which does force a mock here. But it kills. So, no biggie. And this is not the late game that they wanted. Now the best play they've got here is going Raikou, but taking unnecessary chip on that thing is not the greatest. So I'll just mock it, get the chip I want. And drill should sweep. Goes for the Aura Sphere. Now we are burnt. So sadly, I think Ice Beam's our best play. Is that an SB? Takes 27. This should not all be bad though, because unless they got Shadow Ball coverage. Morning Sun comes out. You don't recover as much as you might think. And we got a free spin here. Psychic does 23. Doesn't get the drop. So it is a Calm Mind variant. And I get the burn, which is great. Doing 21 with these pursuits. returns to Samigala. You know what? Fuck it. Yup. E-speed is gonna be a little frustrating, as it does a little chip, but it should not be enough to allow for any type of sweeping on his end. Now I'm -1, so I gotta keep that in mind. Sandstorm's gone, so SB does get +1. Goes into Raikou. Which means I can just go into Ttar and win. Now the earthquake comes out, and it takes the rest of them. Super like the team I was playing against, super cool. Also, shoutouts to whoever this is for keeping X Scissor on Excadrill, because against teams like this, it's low-key a threat. Not bad. Alright, this is gonna be one of the first games against a Ditto with this team, which is kind of frustrating. Ditto's definitely a good threat against most of the squad. I find that Ttar is gonna be pretty good here, given the nature of how it's kind of unsuspecting. You can be, you know, Scarf, but the speeds here that they've got against my squad is pretty disgusting. I anticipate them thinking I'm gonna lead Ttar. In which case, if I were them, I'd probably lead with probably a Chomp. I could see a Chomp or a Bronzong, both of which don't fare too well against a Skarm, so I'm gonna lead with the Bird. Does go D-Knight. That's quite alright for us. Get some hazards up. See if this thing drops a Draco or Flamethrower on us. If it does, you know, that sucks. Usually the leads do end up being a little bit special, but it's fine for us. Because now we can go into this Ttar of ours, and given this nature of the D-Knight, definitely doesn't want to stay in. Goes into Chomp. Takes spike damage. And now, I don't know if they think they're getting hazards up right here. They are not. They definitely are not. And I'll show you exactly why right here. Do not always think you're safe against the Ttar. So I'm going to go into Skarm here. And I'm going to get some good recovery. Now this special D-Knight is a little bit frustrating. Don't get me wrong. Uniclus comes in. Very interesting. Does this thing get... It does get Thunder. Looking at this team, it totally could be Thunder or Uniclus. And Trick Room is up. Don't forget that. And as I said, speed tiers are not actually that good this game. You know, it opens Z-Knight having Ttar sacked for sure. But there's also not too many options surrounding that. So I am just gonna go into Ttar here. Focus misses. That is wonderful. As I can now go into the Starmie, knowing there's not much coverage for this thing. Because if they had Thunder there, I would have went for Thunder. If I were a noob like them, I would have went for the noob play. And they have Shadow Ball. Okay. Sadly, rocks do stay up. Tough. But this is really tricky here. I don't want to bluff. They waste some Trick Room turns going for that. I'm going to go for Toxic because I don't mind staying in here. They go for Explosion. Goes into Conch Elder. I'm going to first pivot. There is bulk up potential, which is why I think Dragon's Tail is the correct move. And with these stat drops and it being a Life Orb, how bulky is Conch? $95, $105. So it's decent decent charting. But a Mach Punch might kill. And I will find out if the Mach Punch does get them.
The celebration continues at Dick's Sporting Goods, your headquarters for officially licensed Patriots.
Goes into D-Knight. Gives up the Trick Room battle. Goes into Ditto. Will you go for Overheat? Goes for CC. Goes into the threat, but I whirlwind. Gets D-Knight. I need to have them miss 2 focus blasts, or just 1. Perfect. Oh. My Mon didn't live. Went for the correct move. Proceedingly still missed. This is what happens when you spam moves that have no need of being spammed. And I lose. Good team by the opponent. I can't be that mad. I totally should have kept that Starmie around longer. I appreciate anyone for coming through and watching this. And I'll see y'all in the next video.